This is Sarah Leslie with Go All In, helping entrepreneurs live the life they want to live right now, making the money they want to make, the way they want to make it, while also living a rich and full life outside of their business. True personal freedom. Let's go. Hey, welcome to Go All In. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so glad that you are too. So, before we dive into today's episode, I want to share something really exciting that's coming up, and it is called the Liberated Entrepreneur Experience. This is my 6-month mastermind, and it starts on June 4th. This is for passionate entrepreneurs who want to experience more ease, more income, and more fulfillment without sacrificing their life. It's for those of you who know you're meant for meaningful work and a rich, full life outside of your business. It's especially designed to help you with everything that I talk about in this episode today and in my whole podcast. The group experience and the Mastermind is targeted at helping you become more liberated so that you can feel and be a more powerful leader in your business and in your life. If you want to become more internally self-sufficient, more self-reliant, and more connected to your own unique guidance system, and finally be able to create what you truly desire from a place of ease and confidence, this is your invitation. So, I recently spoke on stage and shared something that moved people really deeply and opened up a lot of eyes. It's also the most revolutionary shift I've ever made in my own life. And here it is. You are always creating your life experience. Every thought and every feeling, it all adds up to your life experience. And you're in charge of your thoughts and your feelings, thereby your actions, which then create your results. Every minute of every single day, this is happening. I used to live with the illusion that I wasn't in control and or that I had only a little bit of control. And I felt incredibly frustrated at that. Even as a psychotherapist, in all of my studies and all of my obsessive learning and taking in all the information and studying, I still came up with this conclusion, wow, like I can't control the thoughts and feelings that I'm having a lot of the time. I'm certainly not in control of what they, right, the proverbial they are doing. So really my modicum, my locus of control is actually very small. And it left me feeling frustrated with other people, frustrated with myself, and frustrated with the results that I was getting in my own life. And underneath all of that, I had no idea that I was the one creating the experience I was living. When I finally understood that I just wasn't seeing it, I wasn't essentially taking full responsibility for my thoughts, for my feelings, for my actions, and thereby also the results that I was getting in my life, everything changed. I stopped outsourcing my power. I stopped blaming other people, and I started to see the truth. If I wanted different results, I was the one that had to shift. It wasn't about feeling shame, right? Or blaming even myself or seeing that it was my fault. It was about liberation, because when you realize that you're the cause and the outside circumstances of your life are the effect of what you think and what you feel, you become so powerful. I love that word, powerful, because at the heart of what all of us wants, we want control. We want to feel in control. We want to be the masters of our destinies. And this is how you do it in a way that is very grounded. You could even say scientific. I do say scientific. It's all of the things, right? It's scientific, it's spiritual, it's mental, it's emotional, it's all of the things together. And that's why I boil it down into this simplicity statement of you are the cause, your thoughts and your feelings, your actions are the cause, and the world around you, the way that you are seeing everything that's happening in your world, is the effect. Now, here's something that you might not know that radically factors into all of this. And I'm going to share I'm just going to touch on a few of these things because this is a huge concept. And I'll be honest, I still have moments where I get caught up and I need to like review these facts and be reminded and regrounded in I'm the cause and the world around me is the effect. So one of the things that has helped me is to understand that my core worldview, my primary way of seeing the world, was shaped and is shaped in the very early years of our lives. They say, the researchers, social scientists, researchers say that your worldview is essentially shaped by the time that you are 7. And what I mean when I say that, right, is that your way of seeing the world, your way of seeing yourself, the thoughts and feelings that you have about who you are, the thoughts and feelings that you have about how to engage with those that are closest to you, how to engage with the greater world out there, is already established. It's already hardwired into your mind and your way of being. And you've been living out of those beliefs ever since. Most of them are unconscious. That is so important. In fact, up to 90%. And I'm being a bit conservative. Some research says even more like 95%. But I'm just going to say 90% of your thoughts are happening on autopilot. And even more than that, a lot of those thoughts are happening without your awareness. So if you haven't seen Inside Out 1 and 2, definitely check those out because it's this beautiful animated movie that really describes how we can operate without being aware of the motivations and the beliefs that are driving our behavior. So one of the scenes in Inside Out is having the main character inside of her mind recognize or be shown that a lot of the bad memories, a lot of the uncomfortable memories got pushed to the way, way back of her mind. And she basically, the way they describe it in the video, which again is just beautiful, is she doesn't have access to that part of her mind. She doesn't have access to the actual memories, but she has the beliefs that she created as a result of those memories from her early childhood years. And she's now executing on those beliefs. So we have a belief, and then we have a thought about whatever is going on in our current world, right? We have this belief in the far recesses of our mind, in the unconscious mind. You're not aware of it, but you have that belief, and then you have a thought, right? So like you'll have a thought like relationships are hard, or even more specific, right? Why didn't my husband take out the trash this morning? That literally happened. So I'll use that one. Why did my husband take out the trash this morning? And then you have a feeling about it. And I had a feeling of irritation. And then you take action on it, right? And this is sometimes something that you're actually doing and something that you're actually not doing. And so in this particular moment, for this example that I'm using, I chose not to do something about it. And so it was actually a holding in of my feeling of irritation and sort of having this like negative feeling toward him. So I didn't actually like do anything. I didn't like call him and be like, why don't you take out the trash? Right. But instead I turned it inward and I created more of this irritation feeling inside of me, which left me in a fairly irritable state for a hot minute. So all of that is happening unconsciously to a large degree, right? Like I'm aware I'm irritated. I'm aware I'm having the thought that he didn't take out the trash. And the reason that I'm having that thought and that feeling is actually from a belief that I'm not consciously thinking of, right? And a lot of the times we don't know. We don't take the time to like really question, where was that coming from? And I didn't really take the time even to question, like, where is this coming from? And when I track it back and I just ask myself something super simple, like, where is this thought even coming from? What we find is some part of me that held the belief from, again, early childhood years. If you don't take out the trash, you'll get in trouble, right? If you don't do your basic chores, there will be consequences. And, a lot of kids grew up with that understanding. I think it's actually a really good thing for kids to do chores. And one of mine happened to be doing the trash. And I certainly wouldn't want kids to grow up believing that as like a scare tactic. And it's just a reality, right? You have chores and there are consequences. Well, when you feel badly, right, from childhood, I would have had bad feelings about me not performing or me not being perfect or my parents being disappointed in me. That experience gets hardwired into your mind. And so then now I will have a similar experience, whether it's me not doing something that I feel like I quote unquote should have done, or it's someone else not doing something that I quote unquote think they should have done, then it attaches to that old memory. And I'm, still in the process of growing and evolving and becoming exactly the person I desire to be as I continue working with my own coach and rooting out those beliefs and rooting out the understandings of why did I get so irritated with my husband because he didn't take out the trash? Because it's also really not a big deal that he didn't take out the trash, right? In like the grand scheme of life, it's actually not a big deal at all. And yet something inside of me thought I should make it a big deal. And then I did. And very quickly after after that happened, I'm of course describing it to you in great detail, so it didn't take this long. And very quickly after, by the time I drove up our driveway and I parked the car, I was like, actually, it's not a big deal that he didn't take out the trash. And my husband has been taking care of the trash for many years now, and he will make sure that the trash gets taken out. I don't need to be irritated about it. I don't even need to worry about it anymore at this point because he and I have had an understanding, several conversations that have led to an understanding of he's responsible for these things and I'm responsible for those things. And we get those things done, perhaps not always the exact way that our partner, the other person, would like us to. And we've decided to let go of our needing it to get done the way that we think it should get done and allow that other person to be responsible for it. So I digress. And I think it's important to like really demonstrate how this happens because again, even after being a psychotherapist for 20 years, I didn't understand how I was creating circumstances in my life that I did not want. And when I learned this set of content, this concept, and I actually learned through mentorship how to integrate it into my life experience, my entire life got 1,000 times better. So 90% of your thoughts are happening on autopilot. You're not consciously aware of the thoughts that you're thinking or the feelings that you're feeling, or more importantly, the beliefs that those thoughts and feelings are being created by. And again, that's why so many people create results that they don't actually want, and they're doing it all the time. It's unconscious. It's called, technical terms. One of the many technical terms that this is referred to is unconscious programming. And we're all being driven by unconscious programming, which is why I believe this work is literally the most important work to be doing. Again, when you really understand that your behaviors, your results are being driven by your unconscious programming, you realize, whoa, that's really happening. Then that's the thing I need to be investing in the most. So again, I still have moments of, okay, I need to reground. I need to like really get clear on what's happening here and understand how I'm creating this and reroute in my own belief that I am always creating my life experience. So wherever you're at in this journey, like have so much compassion for yourself because you're in the midst of learning this content and learning how to apply it and how to integrate it so that you too can be creating the life experiences that you actually want and be able to have so much compassion with yourself when you create things you don't want. So the moment that you start questioning your thoughts, your stories, your limitations, your areas of resistance and fear and uncomfortable, that is the moment when you begin to reclaim your power. Anytime you catch yourself thinking, I can't do that. That's not possible for me. I don't know how to do that. Well, that person can do it, but I can't do it. Or, oh, that feels really scary. Or, oh, I feel way too uncomfortable to even be able to do that. Pause. Ask yourself, why not? Is that really true that I can't do it? That I can't move forward because I feel so uncomfortable? Is it really true that that person has something that I don't have? Is it really true that that thing that your heart is really, really desiring isn't possible for you? That one question alone, right? It's like a two-part one question can literally change your life. Just that one question alone. And if you're serious about stepping into the life and business you know in your heart that you're meant to, I, of course, encourage you to hire someone to help you. Literally, the most successful people on the planet, of course, they hire people to help them fill in the gaps in which they can't understand why they keep creating what they don't want to create. And, or they have this awareness that there's something there that's blocking them. And so they hire someone to help them, right? And again, we all need that help. So if we look back here, the key points I wanted to drive home for today to really allow you to get this bigger concept is you are the cause. You're the center of your own world. And everything that's happening around you is an effect of what you believe about yourself, about others, and about the world and how the world operates. Your worldview is established by the time that you are 7 years old. Your general way of seeing yourself, other people, and the world around you was established really, really early on in life. And the place that you're going to notice this the most, or where it's going to be the most relevant to you, is in the things that you notice you're not letting yourself to create. The things that you're, times when you're feeling the most stressed or anxious or fearful, you can know that you're being driven by that little child inside of you who's has some sort of fear, self-doubt, hesitation about themselves, about others, about trusting others, and about the world around them. So it isn't that you're actually not able to move forward. It's that there is a subconscious programming that won't allow you to move forward because it feels so paralyzing. And 90% of your thoughts are unconscious. So again, let this be so liberating, so freeing to be like, oh, that makes perfect sense why I would create things that I don't actually want, because I am thinking and believing so many things that we're not consciously aware we're thinking. Okay. So, one of the places that I can tell you in my own life that I witnessed this time and time and time and time again was in my romantic life, my dating life. And in my romantic life, for years, I dated. I dated and then I got married and then I got divorced and then I dated a whole bunch more. And now I've remarried again. And in all of those relationships, this same handful of patterns would surface. And my conclusion would be like, oh my gosh, there's no good people left out there for me to be dating. All the good ones are taken. Why do I keep ending up with this same kind of person who's not emotionally available for me, who's not able to really show up for me the way that I want them to, who's not able to love me the way that I really want to be loved, who's not really quite measuring up to this person that I really want to be in a relationship with. And ultimately, right after 20 years of watching myself go through this pattern, I became aware that this is actually not about those people. This is about me and a handful of patterns that I keep recreating, handful of programs that I keep executing on, a handful of beliefs that I hold hardwired deep into the being of who I am that won't allow me to be able to create, to manifest, to allow, to bring into my life the person I dream about being with. I just can't. It won't happen because I'm not the person that I need to be in order to allow that person into my life. And instead, because of the beliefs that I hold about myself, the beliefs that I hold about other people, the beliefs that I hold about the world, I keep bringing in this other type of person who's really not emotionally vulnerable, emotionally available, who's, all these other things, right? And so again, just to draw it out for you in my own example, what I've discovered in the last several years as I've had these, what I think of sometimes as is wrestling it out with my coach, coming to an awareness of what I truly believe, not what I want to be believing, right? Because of course we want to believe that we're meant to be with this perfect person. But what I've discovered that I actually believe and am in continuing the process of converting even now. And, it's a work in progress. And also I'm on the other side, which I just want to give you hope, because if you're back where I was several years ago now, you could hear this and you could think, oh, it takes forever, or, oh, I have to do so much of the inner work, or, oh man, that's not what I'm saying. You actually can go from being in this like, miserable kind of a place to the other side, right? Which I call liberation. And even once you're over in liberation and your life is like really good, you are still going to come up on roadblocks inside of you, these internal roadblocks where you feel like you're stuck again, where you feel like you're being held back again. And all that's happening is you're reaching another level of growth that you're desiring. You're reaching some new thing in your life that you're wanting, and you're asked to now become more of you. You're asking to shed the current version of you to embody the new version of you who actually can get to that next level. And so again, some of the ones for me that I became aware of is I didn't really believe that there was someone out there for me. Not really, right? Like I had been told that 1,000 times over, and I had watched all the fairy tales. So like I thought that was the way it should be. But in my deep heart of hearts, there was this little girl who didn't feel deserving of being with that kind of person, of being with someone who deeply loved them for who they are. And again, that can sound so crazy when you're a high achieving, capable, competent person. It can feel so conflicting. Like, what? That's crazy. Of course I deserve to be with someone amazing. And this is what I discovered. Okay. So you may discover something new. This may not be applicable. And I'm willing to bet pretty much anything on it because it's been my experience and it's now the experience I've uncovered with just so many other people. So I didn't believe there was really someone out there. I didn't believe that I was deserving of this amazing fairy tale love. I didn't believe that those relationships really existed. I didn't have a lot of role models for them around me. And even in the world at large, when I would hear of this like amazing couple, years down the road, I would find out that they imploded for one reason or another. And so in my true, deep hidden belief, I didn't believe those romantic fairy tale relationships actually existed. And another part of me didn't believe that I could really have what I wanted, right? There were so many times in my life where I really, really wanted something and then it wouldn't happen. And so again, that was just another pattern that I created, that I learned and created, that I could really, really want something and then not have it. So if you pile all of those together, of course, I kept recreating not the ideal relationship that my heart truly wanted. And there are several others, right? That doesn't even get into the beliefs that I held about men and how many times I heard, whether it was from my immediate people or from social media or from just the world at large, especially in TV, right? Men only want one thing. Beware, men only want one thing. Or, if you get married, you have to perform and you have to, please your husband. And if you, get married and you're in that relationship, then you can't really be happy all the time. And the list goes on. So again, when I really started to uncover those actual beliefs that I was suppressing and hiding way back in the recesses of my mind that I did not want to look at, because that's not what I wanted, right? I wanted this fairy tale, romantic, amazing love affair. And so that's what I kept believing and kept saying that I wanted. And yet I was holding on to these other beliefs that were never going to let me actually create my fairy tale romance. So I wanted to give you that personal example so that you could really hear from someone, live and in person, so to speak, of how this actually plays out in your life. And like I said, it's playing out in every area of your life, just like it's playing out in every area of my life on every given day. So that being said, my loves, I am so glad that you are here with me today, and so glad that you're on the journey and that you are choosing to step out, to learn something new, to improve who you are, better who you are, and actually allow yourself to create the life and the business that your heart so longs for. So thanks for tuning in today. And remember, you're the creator of your life. Your life gets to be as good as you will let it. Cheers. Ready to hire your own personal one-to-one mentor to help you take your life and your business to the next level? Go to my website where you can sign up for a no charge, no pressure consultation where we can get to know each other better. I get to hear your vision. I'll help you understand exactly what's getting in your way. And if it feels like a good fit and I believe I can help you, we'll talk about what it looks like to work together.